Om Namah Shivaya. The Vedic astrology has been found to be very difficult by most people. Now, why is Vedic astrology so difficult to understand and to predict? Now, what are the causes for this? I would like to briefly tell you about it. In Vedic astrology, which I also follow, there are 12 houses, 12 nakshatras, 9 planets, and further, there are also degrees of planets. There are also aspects of planets. A planet can be looking at a particular house under some conditions. And further, there are different combinations of planets. Now, these 12 houses, basically, each house represents a different aspect of life. And a particular planet sitting there alone means something else. But a planet sitting in combination but with one or two more planets or 3 planets, it may mean entirely something else altogether. What is the ascendant is also important. If the ascendant is different from the other charts, then it will definitely mean a different meaning altogether. So there cannot be any text which can describe all the charts of all the human beings, because this is a very personal kind of study. The combination of planets sitting in a particular house is important. At the same time, which planet is aspecting those planets is also important. Then, what is the number of that planet, in which house they are sitting, whether it is the house of Venus, or the house of Jupiter, or house of Mars, is also equally important. So, this house, which planet it belongs to, which planets are actually sitting there, which planets are aspecting those planets, these are very difficult matters to be studied. And further, there are different combinations of planets. A planet sitting alone may be powerful, but if it is another planet which is coming and sitting in with it, that may also create a very powerful kind of a situation. A very good combination could take place, or it could also be a bad combination. So this also has to be studied individually for each person. Not only combinations, but also what is the Mahadasha which is going on in that individual's life. Sometimes the planetary chart may be good, the transits may be good, but the dasha may be of a malefic planet or a bad planet which is going on. So the full benefit of that chart would not be enjoyed by that individual, and it will definitely impact upon his life. So, seeing each individual chart, it can be said that a planet sitting alone, sitting in combination, which house it is in, where it is aspecting, what is the Mahadasha of the individual going on at that time, which nakshatra the planet is sitting in, what is the transit to which nakshatra is happening. These are very important. And we basically see 9 planets. In Vedic astrology, we do not take into account Uranus and Neptune. So these 9 planets are most important for Vedic astrology. And there are 12 houses, as I told you earlier. So this is basically the theoretical part of Vedic astrology. But there is another aspect of Vedic astrology which is equally important, and that is the intuition. Not only a person has to be good in Vedic astrology, but also intuition plays a very important part. Intuition is something which is called a sixth sense. In fact, human beings had several other perceptions and some other qualities also, but slowly it has disappeared. And very few individuals have this sense of intuition. The planets where they are sitting, after you make a thorough study of the actual theoretical knowledge of Vedic astrology, you need to have a very good intuition to make a correct prediction for the future. Now, when is intuition strong in an individual? If moon is very well placed in his chart, her chart. If the moon is very strong, it is very well placed in the chart, it means that person is likely to have a very good intuition. Not only this, the Lagna Lord has to be very strong. If the Lagna Lord is strong, that person's means basically that his intelligence will be very sharp. He will have a strong personality and he will also have a strong intuition. Then you also have to see the first house, the 5th house and the 9th house. What kind of planets are sitting there? This will also give you a hint about the intuition of that individual. And lastly, the concerned Vedic astrologer has to be highly spiritually evolved and should be doing regular meditation in order to exhibit a high level of intuition. Not only this, an individual needs to be a pure kind of a soul so that his intuition is also always strong. So, one is the theoretical part of the Vedic astrology. I have never found any book which can give you the correct answers all the time, because perhaps the original books were in Sanskrit and later on during translation a lot of facts could not be covered, or perhaps they were misunderstood, and there is no one single book which can give you the entire science of Vedic astrology. This compounded with the fact that there are hundreds of books, millions of books, you have to be very selective in which book you follow. And as I said, it is a question of experience, of watching so many kundlis, of observing the dashas, mahadashas, and also add to that intuition, your own intuition, and your own dharma, your own kind of spiritual involvement. All this has a factor in making a person a good astrologer, because predicting the future is a very tough task and not many are good at it. Perhaps the basic knowledge can help you to study it, but prediction is a very difficult task, and many times predictions tend to fail. It is only after a detailed study of the entire subject and a detailed kind of analysis of the horoscope of a person that one can make some kind of prediction. So basically, in my viewpoint, I would say that every person cannot become a very good astrologer. Yes, there are a lot of people who work as astrologers, but understanding theories of it, the theoretical part of it, is also difficult. And then further, you have to add your own intuition to it to make a prediction. So these things are very important, and there are different systems of studying astrology. Some people study it differently, some have a different method of studying, but I have talked today about Vedic astrology. And you can basically understand the basics of it, but slowly you tend to develop as to what the planets mean when they are placed in particular houses or when they have particular aspects. And you can add your own insight, intuition to it, and then make a prediction. So basically, Vedic astrology is very complicated and difficult, and it's not easy to master for anybody. So this basic, I wanted to give you a picture of what astrology is, but at the same time I would also say that astrology or the Vedic astrology system, which was propounded by our saints and rishis, definitely it is a part of life, and every culture of every kingdom, whichever we had in India, there was always a Jyotish or a Raj Purohit who was advising the kings on the correct Muhurat, etc., and advising on what to do, what not to do at different times. So Jyotish was placed at a very high level, high pedestal by most of the kings, and they were consulted regularly. Even in our Shastra, the Jyotish is a part of our Vedas and Puranas, and definitely it is worth reading and worth understanding. So if you are interested in it, it is worth studying, because a lot of aspects are in Jyotish which go beyond science also. And most of the time you see that science is still not kept pace with the kind of Vedic astrology and other related things which astrology leads you to, or a pure and pious life leads you to in your life. So studying Vedic astrology is good, but you have to be prepared for a lot of hard work, lot of analysis, and a lot of religious puja, your meditation, your kind of living a good life and pure life. So based on this, you can make some kind of predictions. I have basically studied Vedic mathematics, Vedic astrology, and I have also done some analysis of great personalities, which you can see in my different videos. Like I have done astrological analysis of the chart or the horoscope which I could get of different eminent personalities, like I have done for Subhash Chandra Bose ji, for Swami Vivekanand ji, and recently I have done of Shri Adityanath, Yogi Adityanath ji, and another interesting chart was of Shri Krishna ji. So these horoscopes were basically, they showed what the life of the individual is going to be over the entire lifetime. And one can easily make out that at least if you read it properly, analyze it properly, about 90%, 90-95% of the basic characteristics, the basic life of the individual can be studied or can be followed from his basic birth horoscope. So birth horoscope indicates a lot of events which may happen in his life in the future, and it is a very good key to understanding the entire individual of what lies ahead for him. And you can make out that these events are most likely to happen in this individual's life. So this is a basic guide about Vedic astrology. Thank you for watching this video.